What do you do when you're overwhelmed? When you have so much on your plate that there's no way you can get it all done in a day, and you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you could at any moment have a nervous breakdown? How do you handle that? What do you do to deal with that? In the past, I've stressed out, cried, been upset, been angry, been emotional. Or I tried to jam everything in that I thought I needed to do and put this pressure on myself. So many of us have this overdeveloped sense of responsibility. We feel like we have to do everything. We can't delegate. It's all on us. And we have to make sure it's done or it's not going to get done. Or we're of a perfectionist mindset, and if we don't do it, it's not going to be done right. That's something to be mindful of and watch out for. When you're overwhelmed, how do you deal with it? How do you know what to do and what not to do on your to-do lists? What really helps me is writing every single thing down on paper, to be clear with it. When you're just letting all the things you need to do live in your head, it's so overwhelming, because it feels, you not only feel like it all has to be done at once, but you also feel this massive amount of pressure that you're going to forget something. So then you keep playing with it, toying with it over in your head over and over and over again, for fear you're going to forget something that you need to do that's really important. One of the reasons it's really good to write it down is because it clears up some mental space. You can now clear your mind from the stress of thinking, I'm going to forget about one of these things that I have to do, because you have it all on paper. The next thing that's really helped me, and this may sound totally simple and logical, but so many of us don't do it, is to go through that list and kind of do a rating system, however works for you. But for me, to write either the days of the week that it needs to be done or the times it needs to be done. And I have a separate list of all the things that I really want to do, but they're not of the essence. They're not important to get done by this deadline. I don't want to forget about them, so I have them on a list, but I also don't want the stress of thinking they need to be done today when there actually are things that need to be done today. So once you have them all down, figure out which ones really absolutely have to be done today. Like, somebody's arm is going to fall off if you don't get this one thing done today. If you're a parent, or you have obligations to your boss, or other family obligations, friend obligations, with everything bombarding you, you have to be, of course, for work, you have to be somewhere at a certain time. As an actor, I have to be at this audition at this time and know my lines. That's going to take precedence over, oh, but I really wanted to write my script today, or I really wanted to work on my book today, and I haven't been getting to write my book in a long time, and I really want. You have to push away the desires for what's really urgent and what has deadlines. Like right now, as I'm recording this, I just left an audition, and there were so many other things I wanted to do today, but I had to prepare for this audition. And the old me would have tried to cram in the 10 things I had on my to-do list for today before I went to the audition. And that would mean that every single one of them would suffer. So there's a great thing about putting more white space on your calendar, taking some things off of your to-do list, especially if you're an overachiever or a people pleaser, and there's so much you think that you have to do that you really don't have to do. I don't have to answer my friend's texts immediately. And I know it only takes a couple minutes to answer a text, but if it's pulling you from your focus and pulling you from your mindset, and then that's going to engage you in another conversation that's going to go back and forth in your mind, pulling me away from, for instance, today, having to learn a Swedish accent, for this audition, then you know what, your friends are going to understand if you can't answer them immediately. they're your friends, you know? So putting things in order of importance of what absolutely has to be done today, so you're not doing 10 things halfway, half-baked. You're rather doing maybe 3 things, but you're doing them well. You're not just throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Be a little easier on yourself. Ease up on your schedule on all the things that you think you have to do. Can filling out your son's paperwork for school wait till tomorrow? Maybe. Sometimes when we're at work and our coworkers email us, I have to have this by the end of day. It's okay for you to email them back and to say, you know what is the actual hard deadline on this? When do you absolutely need it, or somebody's arms are going to fall off? And usually they'll be a little more forthright and say, well, it's actually due Thursday, but I wanted it right away because of whatever reason. And then you can decide, okay, sometimes people give you false deadlines because they want it for their own reason, for whatever. Find out what the hard deadline is and only do the things today that absolutely have to be done, and do them to your best ability. Then at the end of the day, if you've done all the things that absolutely have to be done, then go back to the other things on your list and say, okay, well, what else can I do today? And make steps towards it. I'm not saying to avoid anything or procrastinate, but don't overcrowd yourself. Don't overcrowd your calendar and overwhelm yourself, putting false expectations and false deadlines on yourself. I have 12 or 13 goals I have for 2017. I haven't even gotten one of them done yet. And I felt that pressure start to build on me the last few days, and I had to stop back and assess, okay, you know what, I have been working on them. None of them have fully come to fruition yet, but I need to make the strides I can make when I can make them, and not fret that, oh, I didn't get to work on my book today because I had auditions. Because you know what, when you're making steps towards what you want to do, it doesn't necessarily matter which days you do what, as long as every single day you're making strides towards what your goals and dreams are. So I guess my advice is to you workaholics out there and you perfectionists is lighten up. Don't try to do so much. Do what you can, the best you can, when you can. And everything will start to fall into place, and you'll find you're not as stressed out. I hope that helps. Bye.